when we started designing, developing, and testing the dally post, we wanted to make it as safe as possible. We wanted to make it easy to install, and we wanted to make it look good. You know, we want you to be able to go buy a new saddle with a dally post, and have a rubber device so you could go throw it on your horse and go rope. You wouldn't have to start out by wrapping your new saddle with strips of rubber. It's kind of like buying a car and then having to go put tires on it. So when we started really looking at the safety features, we realized if we were going to have a removable cap, that it needed to be removable only when you wanted it to be removed. So we developed several features that prevent the cap from inadvertently coming off. First thing you'll notice is the recessed push button. We inset the push button below the surface so that if you accidentally hit the top of your saddle horn as you go to dally, you're not going to accidentally activate or push that button down. In fact, it takes 7 pounds of direct force to pull the button down or to push the button down, and you can't, even if you do accidentally push it down, the horn's not going to come off. You actually have to pull up on the NevaWrap and the cap at the same time in order to get the cap off. The other thing we did is we knew if we were going to have a locking pin, it needed to be absolutely as strong as possible. So we went with the industrial grade stainless steel pin with 4 locking bearings. You'll also notice that we have 2 sets of holes here. One of them is for the normal lock position, and the other holes are a safety catch, so that if something happens and the pin is not latched, that it'll catch on those safety holes. You can also see that we have these teeth here that prevent it from rotating, and in fact they are offset in size, so you can't install the horn backwards. It'll only go on the way it's supposed to. As far as ease of installation, we wanted to make it so that saddle makers and tree makers would not have to change the way they do business. So we went and thoroughly studied the underside of conventional saddle horns, so that the way it's placed on a tree is essentially the same as older saddle horns. We also, over time, developed this shelf. We didn't have this originally, and there was a substantial amount of exposed metal, but we realized that we get a much smoother, clean look when we have this shelf, and the saddle maker can pull the leather over this shelf, and then the NevaWrap will sit right on top of the leather. Makes for a nice, clean, smooth finish without much exposure here. Finally, we often get the question, well, how strong is the post itself? All right, well, we've had this tested at my alma mater, Texas A&M, and I can tell you this: your tree's going to break before a dally post breaks, and that's it's really as simple as it gets. This is industrial grade aluminum, and it's going to withstand the heaviest of steers that you might run across in the arena, or wild cow or maverick bull that you might have to rope out in the pasture.